All right, we are going to create. This is how we created our speech that we worked on. This is just a backup video to kind of help you get everything done. So the first thing we want to do is we're going to make our talking our random generator. So our magic 8 ball. If you, I'm going to, for sake of this argument or for this game, I'm just gonna keep it a scratch cat. I'm gonna put a studio in, and we'll put the scratch cat walking on the boardwalk, and you're gonna ask questions. But this would be like our magic 8 ball, so we can ask the cat any question that we would like to do. And so what we are going to need to do for this one is we're going to add in an additional feature, which is the text to speech. And so down in the bottom, we're going to add in the extension to make it so that our sprites can talk or communicate. And we're going to do some cool stuff with it. And so we're going to start with when our green flag is clicked. I'm gonna put my cat where I want him to go, so I'm gonna look like he's walking on the boardwalk. So I move him into place, and I'm gonna have him go to this location. So I'm gonna have him go to this location, and then what we can do is I'm gonna have him say, "What are we trying to do?" So he's gonna ask us a question. So I'm gonna have him say, "Ask me a question," and I don't want to do the for the 2 seconds. I'm just gonna do the say, and I'm gonna do ask me a question. Okay. And so we've got my ask me a question. And so when I hit the green flag, it tells you what you're supposed to do. And then, so now we're going to do here is maybe we're going to click on them to get it. So what we're going to do, click B to get response. There you go. So we're going to do this. It's going to say what we're doing. Ask me a question. Click me to get response. Okay. So now what we've got to do is we could start out with how do we say this, and so we've got our text to speech, and so I can have it speak the same thing. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy this, and I'm going to paste this in. And so now when I do this, it'll it'll give you what we want. I can also come up here and I can change the voice. So I have different options for a voice. I'm going to go with this tenor voice. We'll try it again. There it, there it is. So we've got it. So we've got him asking a question. Now, we want to get rid of this because he said the speech bubble. So once he's done, so what we're going to do is we're just going to put in a say block underneath at the end of it, and we're going to leave it blank. So it's say nothing. There it is. And now it's gone. So now what we want to do is when he clicks on them, that's how we're going to get our responses. So we've got them set up. So now what we're going to do is we're going to come in and we're going to do when the sprite is clicked. When the sprite is clicked, what do we want to have him do? I want to have him like give some sort of an indication or feedback, or if it was like a magic 8 ball where he bounces around or he moves or wiggles. So what we're going to do is I'm going to use the glide feature. And so if I bring this a glide, I don't want to have him glide to a random position. So I'm just going to have him glide. This is his current spot. I'm going to have him go to the right and then to the left a little bit. So I'm going to have him go by 10. So I'm going to I'm going to have him go negative 63. So we'll go, oh, no, I'm going to keep that the same. I'm going to make his X. So I'm going to make him go to the right first. So I'm going to have him glide 21 to the right. And then I'm going to duplicate this. So I can duplicate this block. And I'm going to have him go 10 to the left. So he's going to go left and right. So now when we do this, so watch what happens. So I click him. He goes to the left and then goes to the right. It goes really, really slow. So what I want to do is I want to make that faster. So instead of doing 1 second, I'm going to do 0.1 second. And we can do, there it is. I want to make him even faster. So we're going to go 0.01. We'll make him so he goes even faster. There it is. And that might be too fast. Let's go here. There it is. We're going to get it dialed in here. Now, he's only doing it once. I want him to do it a couple times. So what I'm going to do is under my control block, I'm going to put in a repeat. I'm going to repeat. I'm just going to repeat it 4 times. See what happens here. There you go. So that's he's shaking. And then I'm going to have him go back to his X11 y negative 53. So if I want to, I'm going to just take this block out here real fast. I'm going to duplicate that. And I'm going to put it, I'm going to have him go right back to his spot. So he's always starting back at the same spot. So now that we've got him and we got him set up here, what we're going to do is we have to create a list of our answers, like because somebody's going to ask him a question. So we're going to come down and we're going to create a list. So under our variables, we're going to make a list, and I'm going to call this answers. So this is going to be my list called answers. And we want to keep it up here for right now, and I'm going to put in here, and I'm just going to do 3 for you. Yes. We'll do yes. Now you can get as creative as you want with this. We can do no way. And we can do skibbity, right? So those are my answers. So I've got 3 answers on here. And so I've got yes, no way, and skibbity. So those are my 3 answers. So now what I want to do is I want to pick a random number, and we want them to say what that random number is. But before we do this, so I can hide this list. So if I ever want to see what's on my list, I can show it. But we don't want people to see what the answers are. One other thing that we need to create for this is we're going to create a variable. We're going to call this variable selected answer. And this is going to make sense here in just a second, selected answer. And what selected answer is going to be is that's going to be what we're going to say, what we're going to say with it, okay? And so what we are going to do is when he goes back to it, we want to pick a random answer, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to set our variable. So when we click on the sprite, we're going to set our selected answer, and we want to pick something random. And so if I look at my answer list, right now I've got 3 answers. So if I come in here and I do this pick random, and I do 1 to 3, that would totally work. Like I could totally do this. Let's move these up a little closer. I'm going to move this down here, right here, so you can see it. If I do pick random 1 to 3, that would totally work for us, right? So I could pick random 1 through 3, and then what I can do is I'm going to have him say the selected answer. So I'm going to put my variable in here. So I'm going to go in here and I'll put my variable in here, say the selected answer. So when we test this out, will my hair grow back? Oh, it said 1. So we picked a random number. So now what we want to do is, okay, so we got a couple problems. So we picked a random number. So when we click on them, it gives us a random number. But what we want to do is we want it to get from the answer, okay, and we want it to say what our actual list is, okay? So what we're going to do is instead of saying what our selected answer is, we're going to come down to our list and we're going to say item of answers. And we're going to say that selected number. So we're going to put that number in there. So now watch what happens when we do this. There it is. So it says no way, yes, no way, yes. Now, the more answers you have, the more variety you have in this, right? So we're picking 1 to 3. Now, here's what I want. I don't want to have to keep coming back and forth I'm picking my random, and I don't want to keep coming back and forth. So I add another answer to my list. So let's say I go back to my answers, and I hit the plus, and I add another answer. Then I have to change this to 4. So I don't want to do that. So one way that we can fix that is we are going to do length of answers for our n. So we're going to pick a random from 1 to our length of answers. And that will cover if we add 30 items, if we add 10 items, if we add 20 items, it's going to give us everything we need, right? So we totally can do this. So now what we can do is, I'm just like what we did here where we say it, we're going to speak. And that's why we created this selected answer with this number for the selected answer. So what we're going to do is I'm going to come back in and I'm going to go back to that speech to text and I'm going to speak that selected answer. So I'm going to go back in to my variables and I'm going to speak that selected answer. And I don't want to show that either. So I'm going to show that. Oh, see, it's giving us that number again. So we want to do the same thing, this item selected answer of answers. So I'm going to do that same thing so it gives me the right thing. Item selected answer of answers. Let's try it. There it is. It's working perfectly, just like what we did with the last one. We want to put this blank say block at the bottom to get rid of it. So it gives us nothing. Now, here's where the fun comes in. Not only can we do it like this, but we can also make it so it does our voice. So we're going to go to sounds and we're going to record our answers. So I'm going to get rid of this meow. I don't want the meow. And I'm going to record my answers. So I'm going to come in here and record. Yes. Now when I play this, there's a little bit of in the beginning and the end. So I'm going to just bring these sliders over just to get my sound. And I'm going to hit save. Now I can also do some fun things with this. I can make this faster. I can make it slower. I like it a little faster. Sounds kind of fun. So then I'm going to record. I'm going to just call this one. I'm going to call this one. And this is going to be super important for us when we get this. So now I'm going to record my other answers. No. Again, I'm just going to cut off the little bits here. I'm going to save it. I'm going to make it a little faster. And skibbity. It's pretty good. I like that one, how it is. So I'm going to make sure I rename each of these. So this is number 2, and this is number 3. Now, what's super important is we want these to be in the order of our answer list. So 1 would be my top answer, 2 is my second, 3 is my third, so on and so forth. So if you add or change your answers, you would have to come back to get these. So now I'm going to go back here, and instead of doing the speak, I'm going to do that play sound. Now this is where it we change this up just a little bit. So I'm going to do this play sound until done. Now what we're going to do is I'm playing because it's the number. I don't want to do this from the list. I want to just take selected answer because I want that numeric value of it. So I'm going to put that right into there. And then I'm going to put this back up here and get rid of this. Now watch what happens. Now our magic 8-ball is going to say, or my talking cat is going to say what my answers are. There it is. Now I can also go back in where I've got this speak, ask me a question. I can put my voice in there as well. You have to be careful with this because you would want to put this at the very bottom of your list and name it so you know what your list is of your sounds. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to record one more sound. All right, we're going to have a special guest give us our intro. So where it says ask me a question, click me to get response. Here we go.
Ask me a question and click to get a response.
There it is. So we can put this in here. Thank you. Ah, that was our own Kevin. Just happened to be in the room when we're doing this.
Thank you. Thank you.
Then we're going to call this intro. So this is going to be our intro sound. So now we want to make sure we keep that at the very bottom. But now what I can do is if I go back into my code, I can, when I say this one, I can drop this out and I don't need that. And I'm going to play a sound. I'm going to play that intro sound. So now check this out. Ah, amazing. There is our custom answer generator in Scratch.